I can't remember either. Sorry, Brian.
I know.
I'm sure it was a good idea.
Yeah. I think we liked it. Oh, maybe it was a car wash?
Oh, yes, it was. It was the car wash with like an AR component that made it fun.
Anyway,
Loved that idea. I can't believe I forgot that. I loved that idea.
car wash, Brian.
Yeah.
Props to you. So he pitched this to me. And at first I was like, I kind of rolled my eyes. I was like, actually, I thought more about it.
Yeah.
And I stewed on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I think we're mostly there on this idea. But I want to bring on the podcast on an off week episode and get it to 100%.
Yep.
Maybe it's already there, but we'll see.
So let's hear it.
So the 5K, there was like a renaissance of the 5K. Seemed like every day it was like color me rad, the mustache dash, right? It's like there's this huge surge in themed runs
There's the 5Ks everywhere.
everywhere.
And you look out the window, you can't see,
Can't get away from your
get away
5K.
from a 5K.
But there was a time where it was like everything was like a themed run, and then it kind of like died off a little bit, right? And we talked about, I think on episode 2 with the city jump,
Yep.
how there needs to be kind of a reentry back into that space, but something different. So this is a reentry into that space to some degree, not exercise. In fact, the opposite. So there's two elements to this. One, what this is a City Days event. Now, when I say City Days, here in Utah, that's it's Steel Days, it's Lavender Days, it's Strawberry Days. Sometimes it's
Hooper Tomato Days.
Hooper
Anyone?
Tomato Days.
You know,
Sure.
if you don't know Hooper, then anyway, look it up.
Yeah. Every city has got either like kind of their city name days, like Lehigh Days, or it's like a thing, Steel Days.
Something that they're known for.
Something they're known for. So, and I think those exist everywhere. It's not unique to Utah.
Yeah.
I do think they get a little stale. Okay. So
The
this
mayor
is
of Hooper is rolling up. In fact, the mayor of Hooper's child works here.
look at that.
I gotta look into that. But if you're
Continue.
listening to the podcast,
Yeah, this might be an
Anyway,
idea for you.
yeah,
So I'm gonna walk you through the City Days event, and I'm gonna tell you the name of it, and you're gonna love it.
okay,
Okay, so imagine, Andre, you and your friends say, "Hey, let's go to this. Let's go to this event."
I'm in the theater of the mind.
It's probably a 1 day, but it could be a 2 day.
Yep.
It's the first day of summer, right? And so you were in the summer mindset. You go out to this big convention area outside, and the first thing you do is like, well, the first activity I want to do is try all the different briskets of Utah. And so there's a brisket, R&R's is there, and 5-Star Barbecue, right? And then there's a Burger Master competition. Can you make the juiciest burger? Here's some burgers to try. Then there's local meats of Utah. There's meats around the U.S. There's meats around the world, right? Different schnitzels and things like that. So as you can tell, this is a meat themed event, right? It's put on probably by Traeger, but really all the smokers are there.
Yeah.
Big Green Egg, all the grill thing. Charbroil is there, Coleman's there, right? Cutco's there, right? There's lots of vendors that fit in the space that would like perfect for it.
Yeah.
And this is like to kick off the summer. Like we love to grill. Like there's something about summer that like we just want to grill. We want to grill meats. We want wings. We want ribs. We want tri-tip. We want steak. Right.
Right.
All throughout the summer. So that's what this is. It's like a meat convention. It's all grilling, right? And there's hot dog eating competitions, and like you could just come up with there's like so many fun activities to do here. And here in Utah, what you'd call it is steak conference. And it's cheesy,
No, I love
but
it.
it's just
I do
tongue in
love
cheek
it.
enough that I think
that
would
people would latch on.
they'd latch onto it.
Oh, it's a good idea. It's a really good idea. And
Steak
because
conference.
you have that great name as your hook,
That's it.
that's what gets people to be like, I could go to that. That sounds fun.
Like, hey, let's go to steak conference. It'll be fun. Like it becomes like a fun thing to go to.
I love it.
And here's the thing: it's a lot of these things, a lot of festivals. It's like you go to the festival for like whatever,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of like non-food things, and then all the food things are the same. It's the lemonade, like the big lemonade, and some flat or fry bread, and a couple other like random like okay food. But this is like food is like the thing you're going for. And so you pay $20 or however much the ticket is.
Totally. Yeah.
And it's like
And you're going and you're like, I'm going to sample.
I'm going to sample
100
all these
pulled
different
pork sandwiches.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and I'm going to enter the hot dog eating competition. I'm going to enter the grilling competition,
Yeah.
or whatever. And it's just like you can think of so many vendors who'd be like, oh, they would thrive at this.
Totally.
There's one. I'm a big proponent of a brand called Solo Stove,
Okay.
and they have a smokeless fire pit
Oh.
that I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
And they would crush it at an event like this,
Totally.
where it's like, hey, you want to be outside with your friends,
Yeah. They have
have
a little demo. They have a little pit.
and it's just
They
like,
got,
wow, there's no smoke here. Like how great.
marshmallows or whatever.
Exactly.
And it's like, that's fun. And that's how you get people to stand at your booth.
And you do it the first day of summer as this big kickoff to the rest of the year. So it's not too hot yet.
Yeah.
But it's just warm enough where it's like people are out grilling.
Love it.
State conference.
State conference. So I think here's kind of Scott and I's yin and yang personalities, where Scott generally comes in and pitches a huge idea. And it's like, how could I even do that? Right. And it's like, that's a great idea, but it's like, how, so I need to be a billionaire or what? Needs to happen? And I like to generally go to okay, how could we do this tomorrow? And usually that's you go to a college student. That's how I approach these things. If you listen to the podcast, I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
For me, I think of when I was in high school, we always used to go to the Greek festival in Salt Lake.
Okay.
And the Greek festival was not a huge affair at all. It was just the Greek Orthodox Church downstairs or downtown. And
they're
it
making
was
heroes.
They took the whole parking lot and a parking lot next door and but ultimately it wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't $1 billion affair. It was a moderate affair, but people loved going to Greek Fest downtown.
Sure.
I think that you could kind of get somewhere similar with this in your first year.
Start off kind of small.
Yep. Is think what's the biggest
I mean, to me, Traeger is the obvious option. They are.
if Traeger is gonna take a chance on your state conference,
Yeah.
right? Because they may be no, this event has no we don't even know if anybody's going to come.
Yeah.
This sounds like a good idea, but who are you, right? And who knows if you even run anything now.
Right.
So it's if you are a person that just wants to see what you can do, I'm telling you to go find the biggest parking lot that you have access to, or you can get access to for a day.
The church parking lot.
Well, maybe the church parking lot. I don't know. And then just send 1 million cold emails to vendors and just see how much interest you can get.
Yeah.
And then for your first state conference, maybe make it as big as you can make it and see how many billions of people come to your small state conference, right? And then next summer is okay, now I have something under my belt. I can say 1 billion people came to this event last year.
Yeah.
Now I get a little bit bigger.
Now you reach out to some bigger vendors to come.
No, I mean you reach out to the biggest vendors in the world on
But-
your first bet,
but
but
the
then
next
see
time.
who you can get,
Yeah.
right? Because, and then your next year, that's when you can start going to bigger event spaces and bigger
Yeah.
vendors, and you're actually going to get the bigger vendors because you can say last year we had 10,000 people or however many people come to things like this.
I was
And
thinking
that's how you grow.
one other thing you could tack onto this really easily to get a bunch of people there. You put a 5K that either leads to it or starts at it, called the Meat Sweats.
Oh. And somehow we've had the 5K as part of the event. No, I mean, it's a really good idea. And of course I would go to something like this if it existed.
Here's the thing. That's what I ultimately was if this was tomorrow and it was $15, I'd be absolutely.
Yeah.
To be able to try 10 different
We say that
briskets.
about every idea on this podcast.
I
And it's
know. But
that's one of these things going to start
That's
coming to life.
That's the
Faves.
catalyst of an idea. There's lots of ideas where I'm yeah, I guess it'd be kind of cool, but it would not for me. The floating or the inflatable
Yeah.
wacky tube man. I'm I don't really.
Well,
want
and
it.
we've had ideas on this podcast that are yeah, that'd be a cool idea, but
Yeah.
not for me.
I think that we talked about this with another idea, but if you are somebody who puts on events like a 5K,
Yeah.
where you're coordinating vendors and you're setting up booths,
And you kind of have your feet wet in this area.
yeah, because I think when it's what would it take for me? It's oh man, it would logistically.
I wouldn't even know how these things are done.
Yeah, it's there's just a lot to go into it. But if you've gotten past that big hurdle of putting on a big event, I think this is something that you could probably take a crack at. And you probably, if it didn't work out, you probably wouldn't lose too much.
Yeah.
The other thing is people, I can't speak for all men, but